For the sake of marrying a beautiful wife, villagers did not hesitate to throw their only sheep at home into the well. The next moment he indeed met his bride by the well. Although the woman could not speak, the man extremely delighted eagerly took her home. Seeing this, the young man was deeply envious. However, his family was too poor to even produce a decent animal. Desperate to get married, he came up with a bad idea. Secretly threw a large rat into the well. Unexpectedly, when the beauty climbed out, he was completely stunned. In fact, this well was the famous magical well in the village. As long as an animal is thrown into the well, a woman would climb out and become the thrower's wife. And the more valuable the animal, the more beautiful the wife would be. Since this well appeared, more and more single men in the village exchanged animals for wives. Seeing his good friend exchange a lamb for a beautiful wife, and even hold a lively wedding ceremony, the young man could no longer hold back. He immediately rushed home and grabbed the piglet he had raised for a month, ready to throw it into the well to get a wife. At that moment his father rushed over and stopped him, saying only when the animal grows up can it be exchanged for a wife. Seeing no hope of marriage, the young man felt deeply disappointed. Then his sister mysteriously brought him a big rat, telling him to use it to get a wife. The young man knew the rat would not bring a good wife and firmly refused, but his sister persuaded him to take a temporary one first, and later when life improved get a more beautiful one. Then the two of them took the rat up the mountain. The fairy took one look and refused with obvious disgust. Even after much persuasion, they could not allow such a disgusting thing into the well. The brother pretended to leave in disappointment, but as soon as the fairy turned away, he secretly rushed back and threw the rat into the well. As long as it was a woman, he would accept any kind. Seeing the young man so stubborn, the fairy helplessly shook the bronze bell. Sure enough, the next moment a pair of hands appeared by the well. The young man excitedly ran forward to receive her, but when she was pulled up, it turned out to be a woman over 50 years old. This completely terrified him. The fairy explained that his rat could only bring him such a wife. The angry young man immediately pushed his sister to the ground, blaming her for giving him such a terrible idea. At this point he could only accept his fate and lead the wife home. On the way he unexpectedly met his good friend again. The friend immediately understood seeing him walking down the mountain with an old woman, then mocked him, suggesting he should throw his sister in instead, saying that would be better than this 70-year-old woman. Hearing this, the brother's gaze toward his sister instantly changed. The next day, as soon as the young man entered the house, he saw his father had tied up his sister. In fact, his father, having lost money, planned to marry his daughter off to a bachelor in the neighboring village, and ordered the young man to deliver her personally. Without a word, the young man took his sister away. At the village entrance he untied her, saying she was his only sister. How could he bear to see her marry someone she did not love? After saying this, he planned to escape the village with her. Unexpectedly, by nightfall, the sister realized her brother had brought her to the well. Only then did she understand he had planned to use her for a wife exchange all along. Even the bread she had eaten earlier was suspicious. At that moment she felt completely weak. Then the young man took out a disguise suit borrowed from his friend, and disguised his sister as a pet dog, then invited the fairy to proceed with the wife ritual. The fairy examined it for a moment and felt something was off about the dog. She warned him again not to throw random things into the well. The young man quickly promised he would obey. Then he picked up his sister and walked to the well, but at the moment she was thrown in, the sister let out a scream. Hearing this, the fairy instantly realized something was wrong. She demanded to know exactly what he had thrown in. At that moment the well began to stir, and by then it was already too late.